The Savage Nation contains adult language, adult content, psychological nudity. Listener discretion is advised. And now, the world's most exciting podcast, The Savage Nation. Home of borders, language, culture, and here he is, New York Times best-selling author and National Radio Hall of Fame inductee, Michael Savage.
People don't have a job. People don't have anywhere to go. They don't know what they're going to do. And a lot of people you have unnecessarily. Now we have over 120 million dead from COVID.
Now, Biden was confused when he said we have 120 million dead from COVID. These are all the dead who the Dems are sending mail-in ballots to. You know, here we are. We have a hologram in a basement named Biden, who, according to left-wing polls, is ahead of Trump. I don't believe the polls to begin with. I know that there's an entire movement to destroy Trump. And not solely from the Democrats that we know. You have the Lincoln Project. You have major websites who have turned on him. What is the Lincoln Project? They call themselves Republicans, run by George Conway. People you never heard of. Reed Gallon, Jennifer Horn, Mike Madrid, Steve Schmidt, previously worked for Bush, McCain, and Schwarzenegger. Others you never heard of. And they say they're all Republicans and they want Trump defeated. Okay, who are they? They're the Bush, McCain, Romney wing. They're the ultra-liberal Republicans. They're extremely wealthy, very, very powerful group. To me, they're like the Reformed liberal Jewish movement who hate the Orthodox. You know, it's an interesting parallel to me. The Reformed Jews basically hate Orthodox Jews. They fear them. They hate them. They don't even like their own religion. They don't like God. They like God thrown out of the temple, but they like the temple. They like the bagels and lox. That's who the Lincoln Project is, and the McCain, Romney, Bush people are. And then you got the anarchists. Then you got the opportunists like Pelosi, all lined up against them. Of course, the media is with it. I'm going to do an eclectic show today. I'm going to read a little bit, tell you some family stories. I will tell you who the anarchists are and the history of the anarchist movement. I will ask you, what are the greatest contributions of Western civilization to the world? I tweeted that this morning, 4 hours ago. Very interesting answers. What are the greatest contributions of Western civilization to the world? I thought I would use this anarchy and anti-Americanism that we've been seeing over the last period of time to use it as a resume. Western civilization is not going to disappear just because the anarchists and the fools want it to disappear. I also asked another question, which you can call about. What is the most regrettable thing you've ever done? You should see the answers I got to that one. And if you'd like to call the show, the phone number is 855-400-7282. 855-400-SAVAGE. And remember, if you're getting this show on the stream because it's not on a radio station or you don't listen on radio stations, and this show is dominant as a streaming radio show in America and in the world, it's the same phone number. And you can call 855-400-7282. And if you get on this show, you'll be heard by more people than you'll meet for the rest of your life. It's interesting to me how many people listen to this program online. And I want to talk about the COVID epidemic. It's a very important subject, not solely from the point of view of the disease itself, which has been talked to death, but about the destruction of relationships in the United States of America over the COVID relationship. Over the COVID disease, relationships have been decimated. Friends are not meeting, people are not socializing. It is decimating our society, fracturing us. And on a sociological level, in addition to fracturing our relationships, people are turning on each other over the politics of the day. And it's like the Civil War. People who have been friends for years have turned on each other over the killing of that poor man in Milwaukee by the homicidal cop. I know a guy named Bill, who I've known for 25 years, who wrote an article saying that it was a justified homicide, that the cop did nothing wrong. Well, I went ballistic. I said, why don't you send that article to the Ku Klux Klan Gazette? Because you may be the only person in America who believes that it was okay for a cop to put a knee on the neck of a man who had been tied up and handcuffed was being choked to death slowly by that cop.
Lucky.
And the man was begging for his life. He was choking to death. He was crying for his mother. If you didn't hear that, you have no soul. And the man had the nerve to tell me that that was a certifiably okay procedure to the Minneapolis police. I said, have you lost your mind? What kind of soul do you have? And then one word led to the other, and the relationship of 25 years went up in smoke over this. I'm not alone in this. What's going on in America right now is turning people against each other, whether it's the COVID epidemic or the riots. And people are turning on each other like during the Civil War. So I ask questions that are, I think, more generic, like what are the Western civilizations in the world? And I'll read you some of the answers. What is the most regrettable thing you've ever done? I'll read you some of the answers. And then I asked and tweeted some other questions that need to be discussed. For example, early on, 14 hours ago, I said corona spike related to left-wing protests. Why is CDC hiding demos of affected groups this time around? We keep hearing that it's young people. Young people are getting the virus now. Young people. Now, the mortality rate is about 0.1%. So they're getting this. It's lasting about a week or two. It's like a bad flu, and they're getting over it. The older people are not getting the disease. You put two and two together. Why the younger people suddenly getting the virus? Because they were rioting in mobs, remember? And then they traveled around America. How stupid do you have to be not to put two and two together? You'd have to be Wolf Blitzer or Jake Tapper not to see the relationship between the left-wing riots and mobs and the sudden spikes. I don't need them to tell me why. I know more about it than they do. So that's an important topic. Then the other day was interesting. There's a woman named Peggy Nuisance. I mean, you know her as Peggy Noonan. She's an ancient Reagan speechwriter, a real old white glove type who wants Biden to win. And I got very upset by her article in the Wall Street Journal. I mean, she's a real, you say Peggy Noonan. She wrote for Reagan, old-line Republican, white glove, very thoughtful, very intelligent. She wants Trump out and Biden in. And she writes this, she says in a long article, quote, but thoughtfulness and seriousness would put him squarely with wavering Trump supporters. She's writing about Biden. And the honestly undecided, and reassure them that a vote for him, meaning Biden, is not also a vote for unchecked extremism and mayhem. That's what Peggy Nuisance has become, an ancient Reagan speechwriter pushing for a Biden win. And I said, she's an antique. She's on the wrong side. She has no idea what the National Socialist Party has become, which is, of course, the Democrats. They're the National Socialist Party. What's wrong with these people? The worst Republican is better than the best Democrat right now because the Democrat Party stands only for anarchy and anti-Americanism. At least those are my views. Trump says he's arrested over 100 anarchists. Let's hear clip 3. I don't know. I don't believe it. Do you believe this or not? Let's listen to clip 3.
And with us, we've got very tough here. We have over 100 people under arrest, which nobody knows. I said, how come nobody knows that? They said, we're law enforcement people. I said, they're right. They're not public relations people. But we should let people know we've arrested a lot of people. And based on the Monuments Act, which is already in existence, they get 10 years in jail. Let's see. Let's see. Now people are just learning about it. But when they hear 10 years, it's been very modified by comparison. So they want to knock out a monument or a statue. They get 10 years in prison.
Look, President Trump, we want to see their pictures. We want to see a picture of the 100 anarchists that have been arrested for destroying American monuments. Okay, people need to see that you are in control and that law and order rules. BLM plus ACLU equals CPUSA. That's a little set of acronyms that I put together on Twitter for those of you who know Godard's work in the 1960s. The filmmaker, BLM plus ACLU. Imagine me writing this with a brush on a wall. BLM plus ACLU equals CPUSA. It's an acronym, but it says an awful lot. It's less words and more meaning for those of you who get the Instagram, the Telegram message, you know what I'm saying? 855-467, Mona to Stone, and calls. Relationships being fractured. So you want me to read the story now? We just save that for segment 2. I have 8 segments in the show. So Jim, Verde, Robert Borowski, and I talk in the morning. and I write out with them the segments we're going to do. So I said segment 1, which is what we're doing now, open monologue, website tweets. I haven't read my website yet. Segment 2, I'm going to read a story from A Savage Life about a bus ride to Atlanta, Georgia in the 1960s, in the middle of the night eating fried chicken. Segment 3, we're going to read from A Savage Life, another story. Segment 4, headlines that are out there and your calls. Segment 5, we're going to do Western civilization. And in segment 7, we have a very interesting guest for you. No one's had him on any show yet. Even the great Sean Hannity hasn't had him on. Mr. Madison Cawthorn. Who is he? He should be in every show in the country. He is the 24-year-old Republican House candidate who won North Carolina, the primary in the 11th District on Tuesday. Now, this young man is a hero, and he's going to be on this show with us. He's 24 years old. He won this seat. Trump didn't back him. Trump backed somebody against him, an establishment Republican type. I don't know who he backed, but Mr. Cawthorn should be our hero. He's not made it to Fox News yet because he doesn't meet the protocols of the elders of Fox. I'll be right back.
The Savage Nation. It's Savage on demand.
There are everyday actions to help prevent the spread of respiratory diseases. Wash your hands. Avoid close contact with people who are sick. Avoid touching your eyes, nose, and mouth. Stay home when you are sick. Cover your cough or sneeze. Clean and disinfect frequently touched objects with household cleaning spray. For more information, visit cdc.gov/COVID-19.
Furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters and this podcast.
There's only so much politics you can take and I can take. I'm going to read you a little short story from A Savage Life. This is a 2-pager called Hegira from New York. My first Hegira from New York was a bus ride to Miami. The dining highlights, I recall, were the chicken bones in a greasy bag, thrown under the seat by an old lady going to her retirement. And chicken again, this time the southern fried variety, at a bus rest stop in the middle of an Atlanta winter night. I always loved fried chicken as a boy, and this was really going to be a treat. To gorge on greasy chicken thighs and breast out of Dixie, where I had heard they had first perfected the recipe. The only factor limiting my enthusiasm was the time of night. I was asleep on the bus like Ratso Rizzo on his death ride, sweaty and a bit short when the Johnson Greyhound abruptly stopped. The lights were flashed on. Rest stop, everybody out, shouted the bus driver, and he came down the aisle prodding each and every one of us, even the old chicken bone lady, reminding me of the cartoon cop of the past who cracks his billy across the soles of the sleeping park bum. Who knows, maybe he got a kickback from the rest stop owner. I really don't know. But everyone on that bus was hounded into that eatery. The doors to our carriage locked. There was no escaping it. I would have southern fried chicken even though I was slightly nauseous beneath that 3 a.m. Georgia night sky with stars as sharp as fractured mollusks in a barrel. It was okay, that's all. Too crusty, too greasy. Of course, today I know it was probably cooked in lard, and that the saturated fat would account for my early death had I kept on with my dietary ignorance. But the slight case of indigestion I nursed all the way to Jacksonville gave me that slight something to think about, which oh so softly pushed me into the arms of Morpheus. That's Hegira from New York. Now, the story then continues. I have 2 minutes before I plots here with the timing and the this. Did anyone like that story? You want me to continue? You want me to only talk about COVID and diseases and news and disease and news and Trump and Biden? I won't do it anymore. I'm on strike. Now I'm going to read from Miami because I got to Miami. I got this in my sleep last night. I'm getting up every day at 4:35 now. I used to hear that when you get older, you don't sleep that much. I heard it from my parents. I didn't understand why. I think I kind of know why you don't sleep that much when you get older. You know, right? You're getting ready for the big sleep, so you can do without it. No, I'm going to sleep early, so I'm sleeping better. By getting up at 4:30, I have a trick. You know what my trick is? You ever notice if you get up early and you lay in bed, you start to worry, your mind like swirls with every problem in your life? I found if I just get out of bed even in the dark and it's cold in the room, you're better off. You just get up, do your stuff, whatever.